Hi friends, how is everybody? Today, we're going to be continuing learning about fraction. It's going to be a review of addition and subtraction. Keep your fingers crossed that no dogs bark during this video or any cats run across. We'll see what happens. So, you've been doing a really wonderful job with fractions. I've been super duper impressed. So, do you know what this item is right here? Sorry for the noise, it's my items. It's a beaker. It's one whole beaker. So we're going to use this to help us with our addition and our subtraction today. So let's start off with thirds. If I had 1/3 in this beaker, do you see 1/3? This represents one of the 3 parts that could be in this beaker. And I have another third in this beaker. So I have 1/3 and 1/3. I can decide, do I want to compare these with subtraction or do I want to add them together? I'm going to add them together. So I know 1/3 of a beaker plus 1/3 of a beaker, if I put together, would equal how many? You're right. It would equal 2 of the possible 3 parts. So this is not a full beaker. This beaker is filled 2/3. Wonderful. Let's try another one. Why don't we do the beaker we have in front of us? Do you remember the fraction? You're right. It's 2/3. 2 is the numerator, which represents the parts of the beaker that's filled. 3 represents the denominator, which are the possibility of if it was all filled. So we have 2/3. What happens if we take away 1/3? So we started with 2/3. We took away 1/3. How many were left? You're right. 1 of the 3 parts that could be in the beaker were left. Let's try another one. Can you see? That says fifths. So this represents 1/5. If I filled the whole beaker, there would be 5/5. But I'm not going to fill the whole beaker. Listen and watch and see how many fifths you think are going in this beaker. Can you say the fraction? You're right. This beaker is filled. 4/5 of this beaker is filled up. We're going to put some fifths in this beaker. How many fifths went in this beaker? You're right, 1/5. Now, we've done a lot of taking away, but sometimes subtraction isn't taking away, but it's comparing. So let's look at these beakers. We know that this is We know that this is 1/5, right? Do you see that? That's 1/5. We know that this beaker is 1/5, right? It has more than 1/5 in it. So we're comparing how many more fifths are in this beaker. So if this beaker is 1/5, this beaker is 4/5, we want to know the difference. So I see 1/5 here, 2/5, 3/5. So this beaker is 3/5 higher than this beaker. So the difference is 3/5. So this one is 3/5 less than this beaker, and this beaker is 3/5 more than this beaker. So sometimes subtraction isn't just take away, but it's comparison. So looking at the symbols is extremely important to figure out if you are adding or you're subtracting. Let's do a couple without the beakers, but I'm going to draw it. Let's do 4/6 minus 2/6. So you can draw it as a bar. I know the whole would be 6/6. One, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6, 6, 6. We're starting with 4/6. So there's my 1/6, my 2/6, my 3/6, my 4/6. If we wanted to do a comparison, I can draw my 2/6. 1/6, 2/6. So we're trying to see the difference between 2/6 and 4/6. And what is the difference? The difference is, great, the difference is 2/6. The other thing you could have done is the takeaway, right? Where you start with 4/6 and you take away 2/6 and you're left with 2/6. So there's two methods here when working with subtraction. Subtraction can be where you're taking away parts, or you can be comparing like we did with the beakers when we compared one beaker to another. So I'm going to give you a bunch of problems now that you're going to simply write on your piece of paper. You're going to write them now and solve them later. When you're done solving, you can either write them in a Google Doc like some of you did yesterday, or your grown-ups can upload the picture, whatever you would like. But let's look at this one. The first problem I want you to write down is 5/5 minus 2/5. Great, leave room for your answer. Then below it, you're going to write 3/4 minus, plus 1/4. Did you copy that down? Great. So the next one is going to be 3/6. Think about what that means. Write that down. And then 1/6. Fabulous. Write this next one down. 5/6. Think about what that symbol means. 2/6. Great. Wonderful. Well, you did a great job with our review of addition and subtraction of fractions with like denominators.